Tchaikovsky had written it, and he was good friends with Rubinstein. Brought it to Rubinstein, hoping his buddy would perform it, only to completely get shut down. Can you imagine like me doing that to you? Unimaginable. It's just so, it's such a bummer.
Somehow I could actually imagine that.
Hi there, my name is Tim Young, Principal Clarinetist of your Symphony Nova Scotia. I'm joined by my close friend and colleague, Gabe Azzie, Principal Bassoon, for this pre-concert chat for our upcoming concert, Scheherazade. Buddy, how are you doing?
Good. It's good to be here. We just can't get enough of each other, can we? Sit next to each other.
Carpool.
Do these things.
Yeah, we do it. Yeah, we see a lot of each other.
Yeah, I drive him crazy. He drives me crazy, but we love each other. So.
Anyway, Scheherazade. You did this not that long ago.
I did.
And well, you got a chance to gush about it in our Symphony Week concerts too.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
I mean, I had a blast, honestly. I had a chance to do it 2 summers ago at the Scotia Festival. And you know what? Like, I could play those bassoon solos all day long. I mean, they're just so rewarding and exciting to play, exciting to listen to as well. And the main thing for me is just to be a part of such a wonderful masterpiece of storytelling and orchestration. And so I'm really, really looking forward to performing it with Symphony Nova Scotia.
It's such an orchestral showpiece that it's really all hands on deck, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like most of our colleagues are going to have a chance to shine. And that's what makes me love the piece so much, you know. Now I'm curious, Tim, this is going to be your first time performing it.
It is.
What are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, like you said, it's my first time, but it's one of those pieces that we all studied in school so much, you know, and I've certainly done the solos in auditions many, many, many times. Rimsky-Korsakov didn't intend for, you know, specific themes to refer to specific characters per se, but the piece it's overall, it's very character driven. You know, so for me, it's all about kind of digging in, okay, how much do I lean on? How much weight do I put on these accents to kind of get the right sound? How much intensity do I kind of put behind my solos and my cadenzas? How much do I let these short notes sparkle? These are all really fun decisions to make, and I think it'll be fun for me as an individual, but also us as a section and as an orchestra, in order to kind of find the right sound. And I think for me, that's really exciting, and I'd imagine like this is one of those pieces that musicians just get excited to play, you know. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You want to talk some Tchaikovsky?
Sure.
The first piano concerto.
Yeah.
I played it once 7 years ago, and I did it with you.
You did. Yes.
We were wee lads back then.
We were wee lads. We were babies, students in good old Hamilton, Ontario, at the National Academy Orchestra, under the late great Boris Brott. I think it's safe to say it's my favorite piano concerto probably out there.
I don't think I knew that about you.
Yeah, well, it's funny, when I was a kid and I had just started playing bassoon and I had no knowledge of orchestral repertoire at all, my grandmother bought me a whole bunch of classical music CDs. You know, I'm this like 14-year-old enthusiast who just picked up the bassoon and is falling in love with orchestra and all this stuff. And so I put the CD into my computer because back then computers had CD drives, and I was just browsing through and scrolling through, and you know, you heard your classic Eine kleine Nacht music, and then this piece comes on, and turns out it was the Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto, and it just hooked me, and I listened to it, and I thought, man, this is so cool.
It's a banger.
Yeah, a real banger.
So isn't it crazy though? Like, of course, it's such a big staple in our Western musical canon now. Yeah. But when he first wrote it, that was a bit of a rocky start for that piece. Like,
yeah, the pianist was not happy. Apparently, according to him, it was borderline unplayable. Rubinstein, who was the pianist that it was written for, was just beside himself in terms of like, this is unreasonable, and I can't believe you'd write this for me.
But of course, that's also not the first time that's happened. Like, for our audiences, classical musicians throughout history were not always the best at doing the tactful thing.
No,
they did that to pieces all the time. Brahms's Violin Concerto, a staple now, famously proclaimed to be unplayable, and violinists didn't like the oboe taking center stage and refused to play it. And my favorite example, I don't know if you knew about this, Schubert's Ninth Symphony was apparently considered so absurdly hard that
Really? I
the
did not know
orchestra
that.
members just burst out laughing, rehearsing at one time. But you know, these pieces kind of all withstood the test of time, and here we are. And I'm glad. I think society kind of made the right call on this one.
Yeah. So the first piece that we're playing, Swim by Cassandra Miller.
Very new.
It is very new. Written last year, also premiered last year by the Victoria Symphony. What are your first impressions upon, because obviously there are no recordings that we can find, so this is going to be like a brand new experience for us. The first rehearsal, that's when we're going to hear it for the first time. So I'm wondering, like, how do you approach a piece like that? So something that you can't listen to, you're not familiar with, you know?
The first thing that I notice is there are these texts that's kind of divvy up sections of the piece. Mm-hmm. So I did a little bit of digging. The text comes from a Canadian poet named Anne Carson. She wrote an essay called, I believe, Water Margins. And these kind of little blurbs were kind of taken from that essay. What was interesting to me is, you know, there's the subject, the swimmer, but it's not a very active experience. You know, it doesn't say the swimmer is doing this. It's the swimmer experiences this. This happens to the swimmer. For me, it sounds very kind of a still, almost passivity to it. It's kind of an observational experience. I wonder if the piece is going to be like that. And I wonder if this is kind of what the audience is supposed to experience. It's going to be one of those things where something very subtle changes and then it morphs into something else. We've done pieces like that.
We have, yeah. And I think from my impressions on reading up on it as well, it sounds like it's going to be something that's kind of feels like more of a flow to it, you know, kind of like water, right? You swim in the water, and the orchestral textures are going to gradually evolve and maybe come back and then evolve again. And so I'm very curious to hear the final result on the stage. The audience is in for a treat, just as we are. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for joining me.
This was a great chat.
Yeah, this was fun.
It's fun to just like nerd out, you know. I mean, we do that anyway, but you know, now the audience can have a little sneak peek into how we talk amongst ourselves, you know.
All the time.
All the time.
Thank you for watching this pre-concert chat. We would like to thank Dr. Piano for sponsoring this concert. This is going to be really fun and special, and we hope to see you there.